welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AWOL, and it's time to do another month review. And here I have all of the bracelets that I made. So yeah, this month, my main focus was to take a pattern and then expand it, but not necessarily doubling it in any kind of conventional way. And I thought that would be an interesting thing because the way that I expanded any one of these bracelets could be done to any other one of these bracelets, making something completely new and hopefully inspire you to try experimenting with things that you find interesting and then turning it into something completely unique. A lot of them I noticed end up having this. Okay, so this is the first one. This is pattern 5641 on friendshipbracelets.net. So these little diamonds, right? These little spaces in the lighter color seems to almost be like a running theme this month, although that wasn't my intention. But it just turned out that way. And I love how it's just a little single dot down the center, but then when we expanded it, you got the bigger dots on the outside part. And so what started out as what looks like a very, very simple one turns in more complicated. And that seems to be also a kind of running theme when we've been playing around and altering a pattern, is that it just makes it harder. And I know that a lot of people who watch these kind of videos are beginners. And I hope that this doesn't discourage you from making stuff. I hope it inspires you to push on and become at least intermediate, if not going, full on with the bracelet. So that was that one. This one was pattern 5686. And when I doubled it, I did not expect it to actually be the same kind of doubling, just as if I had done it the normal way. I thought I was doing something different, and it turned out kind of the same. It's still a fun bracelet, but this one was easy. So if you are a beginner and you're looking for ones to do, this one was easy. And yeah, I think that's, well, probably this one down here, but we'll get to that in a bit. It's a cool bracelet. I like it. It's fun. It was easy. So if you're looking to like impress friends, but you're not really ready to go into the more advanced stuff, then this might be for you. So yeah. The next one is this pattern 5687. So it's basically, it's just the Greek wave, but then we added a bunch of color off to the sides, which kind of enhances how the overall thing looks. Typically, when you go to this many strings, the wave is made to be bigger, and that's kind of interesting. But I wanted to show that that's not the only way that it could be done, and that we just added stuff to the sides, which again, you could do that to pretty much any of these bracelets and turn it into something different, right? So for like every pattern, and I know out there are thousands of patterns, for every pattern, there could be something new made from it. And yeah, I kind of like that premise. All right, so the next one is this. This is the one where I kind of saw it as like flowers with a vine and sky kind of thing going on, and just kind of running with it. That was my take on it. That's why the colors are the way they are. This was 7832 over on friendshipbracelets.net. So it turned out pretty cool. It's a very striking bracelet. I think it would be a fun one to pass on to somebody. I think that's very cool. A little bit more advanced, but not too terribly hard. Like, it's not like crazy levels of advanced knotters can only do kind of thing. It's a little advanced, but it's not terrible. The next one is this. This is 8730. This is another one of the bracelets that might be a little bit easier to do. So if you're a beginner and you're just kind of looking through my list, I would say this one and that one were probably the easiest out of all the stuff. But yeah, it's a cool bracelet. I definitely think that's definitely attractive. I think if you did this, really super wide or made like a bag out of it, I think it'd be super striking, because it kind of reminds me of like some of the handbags I see where the pattern just, you know, it just stays repetitive and ends up looking really cool. So I think that would be a neat one. This one, back to the little squares again, and alternating with a dot periodically in it, which definitely made this one a little bit harder to do. But it look, I mean, it really is kind of striking, and it is sort of, it doesn't, I don't think you really catch on immediately how there's just a smaller dots mixed in with the bigger ones, and how that spaces out, and how that actually comes about. Like, it doesn't, it's just kind of subtle, but it makes for a really cool bracelet. It's kind of fun. I mean, if you compare that to, like, say this one, right? They just look like they're a bunch of dots, but then when you look closer, you see what it is. So this one, I've already lost track of where I'm at with the bracelet number. I think this is 8730. No, this is 14417. Then this one, I don't remember the bracelet number, honestly. I have a thing with the thumbnails, but it just says a 12-string zigzag masterpiece. So this was 3 zigzags going on, which end up spacing out the dots. I'll put the bracelet number in on the video, but you end up with the dots, but they're all offset because the red is actually just doing this zigzag thing through there, which is really pretty cool. Like, when I first thought of the idea of 3 separate zigzags, I didn't really think out like what was going to happen as a result. But yeah, that's what it did. So yeah, this just says 12-string zigzag masterpiece, which it really is. It's a really great bracelet. That's a lot of fun. All right, next one is 17054 over on friendshipbracelets.net. So this one, it's like there's X's, just a series of one after the other with these little dots in the middle. The shape in here kind of inspired what went onto the edges, but they're very different, and it makes the pattern interesting, different, something cool. And the fact that it looks like a bunch of X's and stuff just seems, I don't know, there's something really cool about the way this one turned out. So yeah, I kind of like everything I make typically. You'll seldomly ever hear me say I hated that one, but unless it was really, really hard, which we'll get to that. That's coming. All right, next one, 30918. The colors are really, there's not enough contrast. I could have done better. I was looking for something where it would make it interesting and kind of, well, I thought the similarities and differences would be kind of cool, but I definitely think this would have worked a whole lot better if there had been more contrast. So that's completely on me. And okay, the next one is 40746, and this one is really, really cool. The pattern is repetitive. You've got these 5, whatever this is, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of whatever that is. It looks really super cool. This wasn't as hard as you might think it is. If you're just kind of starting into some slightly more advanced bracelets, this one might actually really suit you. It's not very beginner, but it's not the worst. So yeah, this is a pretty fun bracelet. I didn't mind this at all. This one is just taking 2 different patterns and throwing them together and see what would come of it. It was patterns 8965 and 40718, and ridiculously hard. There's so many knots. There's kind of zigzagging along. It makes the texture of the bracelet seem kind of weird. The back actually looks really cool because, you know, you can really kind of only do it one way because all the knots are pretty much, you have to go this way or this, you know, there's like little left to chance. So yeah, definitely a harder bracelet, took a little bit longer to make, but it's cool. It is a good looking bracelet. So yeah, that's my collection for the month. Not bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 bracelets this month. As well as all of the stuff I've been working on the live streams. So yeah, lots of stuff going on. I had a good time this month. I'm really looking forward to next month with all the ornaments. So if you're interested in trying to make something a little bit more 3D-ish and have fun, yeah, get ready. Next month's going to be full of all kinds of interesting things. So thank you for watching. And as always, don't get your strings in a bunch.